So it's time to kick off the new season, the Ninja A-League.
And oh my word, arrive for the finish but stay for the celebration.
The Dundas taking a strike. Emma Dundas.
Oh, Stanage flooding.
Yashi. Wow. What a strike. Gee, the goal-scoring machine. Fuller off the post.
What a cracking goal.
An undefeated home and away campaign is complete for Melbourne City.
Adelaide United are going to the semi-finals of the Ninja A-League.
The winner of the Julie Dolan medal, Alex Tilliak from Melbourne Victory.
Central Coast Mariners are going to the Ninja A-League Grand Final. This is it. To win the Grand Final, Bianca Galich for the Mariners. Bianca Galich is good with the penalty. And the Central Coast Mariners are the Ninja A-League champions of 2025.
Well, hello and welcome to Dub Zone. I'm Amy Duggan. The Ninja A-League is back for another season and we can't wait to break it all down for you. On the panel today, I make a very warm welcome to A-League's commentator, Teo Pellizzeri. Welcome back.
Great to see you again too, Amy.
And we're very lucky to be joined by a special guest today in A-League, Ninja A-League Championship winner, Annabel Martin from the Central Coast Mariners. Welcome to Dub Zone.
Thanks for having me, Amy. Happy to be here.
Yeah, lots to look forward to this season. Teo, are you ready for the off-season to be over?
Yes, I am. A lot of player movement, a lot to sink our teeth into, and it is the time to sell a bit of hope to all the teams before they kick off round one. And who would have thought when we were sitting here a season ago that the Mariners would be our defending champions as well?
I did.
Of course you did. You must be looking forward to getting back out on the paddock though.
Yeah, really excited to go around this season. If anything, last year's made us hungry to go again and get more silverware to our club.
We just saw that great vision of the celebration of the Central Coast Mariners after winning their penalty shootout, of course, with that grand final victory over Victory. Annabel, talk me through this. How long did it take to sink in?
Yeah, it probably took a good while to probably fully sink in. Maybe it still hasn't quite yet. But I remember sitting around at the hotel breakfast the next day with our medals around our neck and jerseys still on and just thinking, wow, this really happened.
The post-match celebrations were pretty wild on the sideline. How long did they last for?
Yeah, I think, definitely went on a little bit. I had a lot of fun in the change room with the whole squad, staff, players that didn't play that day. It took a whole army to get there and to get that trophy. So, yeah, we definitely celebrated and had fun all together.
Now, it was the first time the grand final had ever gone to penalties. When did it start to enter the back of your mind? Do I have to take one? And what order were you going to be taking one? Because they scored 5 from 5, your teammates. Where were you in the order to go in the penalty taking?
I was number 6, but Husband did come to me right when we were taking pens, maybe asking if I could step up and take one, and I was more than happy to. She said, go check with the young'uns. So I went in and checked with Peter Trimmis and T. Fuller, and the look on their face, they were zoned in, ready to go, confident, and were super keen to take one, and I trusted them. I went back to Em and said, I'll go number 6, thanks. And they went in, and they're probably 2 of the best pens of the day, I thought.
You're about to enter the prime years of your career now. You've been in this competition for a long time. How does it sit with you knowing that you are the defending champions, but that you personally are also an A-League champion? How satisfying is it to have ticked that off with still so much of your career ahead of you?
Yeah, really proud of what we were able to achieve as a team, first and foremost, I think. The amount of hard work and fun we had throughout the season was a great testament to the club and the setup that we had. For me personally, yeah, it was a great achievement. Probably one of the best moments of my career for sure. And like to have my dad and my brother and my sister-in-law out in the ground for the celebrations, something I'll never forget.
And you now move from the hunter to the hunted for the next season, but with a lot of changes. How does that make you feel?
I can't speak for any of the other clubs, but we're definitely still hunting for more silverware, and we've got our targets set on everyone else's backs this year. So I'm really excited to get out there. Obviously a lot of changes, but I think that happens in sport. I don't think there's ever been a team that has had the exact same team heading in from one season to the next. So yeah, we're excited to embrace the new challenges that are going to come along.
Well, there are quite a lot of changes, including right from the top in the coach. Teo, do you want to walk us through a couple of these?
Yeah, Em Husband's the biggest one, joining the Matildas as an assistant coach, but you see an incredibly long list of names there. Let's look at some of the other outs, because Taylor Ray was heroic through the back half of the season, has gone to Victory. Jessica Nash has gone to Italy. Brooke Nunn and Jade Pennock, the two English imports. Pennock to the USA, Nunn to the Wellington Phoenix, where she will now have to face the Mariners. Bianca Garlich, a huge out as well, going to Sydney FC. And then the ins, Annabel. As you say, squads are fluid. There's always turnover. How different does it feel in pre-season? Because half of you are coming back as the defending champions and half of the team are coming back hungry with something to prove.
Yeah, like I said, I do think it is quite natural that it happens in sport. And I would even say from our first season at the Coast to the second season, we had a fair few changeovers as well. Lost, important players. Like I said, it's part and parcel of it. And, losing players like that, it opens an opportunity for others to come in and earn games and really see if they belong at this level, I guess, and I have no doubt what those players on the list do.
What about the departure of Em Husband and the arrival of your new coach, Corey Babington? Because we could not have sung Em Husband's praises higher, and the job she's landed is a good one as an assistant coach of the Matildas. It's sad that the league loses her as a head coach. So what has her exit been like? And tell us about Corey Babington, who's now steering the ship.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I've had Em as my coach for the past 4 seasons at Sydney Union and at the Central Coast Mariners, so it's a massive change. I've been fortunate enough to have such a high-quality coach for so long, but, I'm excited to get to work with Corey. He's come in, really set the tone early, really got along with all the girls really, really well, and yeah, honestly, I really am excited for him. I think he brings, a lot of wealth of experience. Obviously, some of the players and teams that he's worked with, he definitely knows his stuff and he's done his apprenticeship. But he's also just like a really good guy that we enjoy being around, and he definitely picks and chooses his jokes and stuff like that, but very much a dad in that sense.
Bit of banter, very important.
Yeah, he loves the TikTok jokes and stuff like that. So they don't go down well with the girls, and we let him know about it, and he does not care.
You've got Millie Farrow joining from Sydney FC, Janae Dos Santos from Canberra. Who's impressed you in the off-season, in the pre-season?
Yeah, well, definitely those two names, I think. Always good to have two quality players up top. I think, you need to score goals to win games, and those two can definitely score goals. So, I'm excited to get Millie in and hopefully get some good games out of her. And then Janae Dos Santos is actually one that's really impressed me, I think. I forget that she's only 20 years old still, but she just does the little things really, really well. She's such a smart player. Her football IQ is very, very high, and she's someone that, really wants it, and really you can tell that she wants to work hard and like I said, take that opportunity that maybe is there.
Teo, who from this side are you looking forward to watching this season?
Well, 10 years ago, a player called Liz Gray broke onto the scene at the Western Sydney Wanderers. She's been a great player in NPL Women's in New South Wales, even scored the match-winning goal for Bulls Academy in the grand final. And now she is back in the Ninja A-League. Now, this is 2015. That's Alana Kennedy. Liz Gray is giving the slip there to score a goal. Of course, it's a Sydney derby, so the Wanderers didn't win. But put that aside, it is exciting to see her back. She started in this league as a centre forward 10 years ago. She's since been a centre back, someone you would have played against quite a lot in your football, Annabel. What's it like to have her in as a veteran teammate and someone who perhaps had one chance at it and now gets another a decade on?
Yeah, well, I'm not sure if we'll be seeing her up the field like that again. Definitely not number 9 anymore. She's moved to the number 3 to suit the centre back. But really excited to have her on board, if I'm being honest. Played against her for a long time in the NPL, and she was always such a formidable opponent. But obviously as the captain of the Bulls, or has been, and they had a very successful season this year. So I think she brings a wealth of experience, albeit not from the A-League, but I think she still brings that, which we really need. And for me personally, to have someone quite vertically advantaged in that sense.
Taller than you mean?
Definitely help me. I'll be calling, Liz, come get the headers, and I'll step back and maybe just
you move back in the field when you get older and smarter.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's all about knowing your strengths, and her height is definitely one of them. So, try and aim for her on the corners, I think, every time as well.
We wish you all the best for this season, but there will be some changes to the Ninja A-League this season, with Western United into hibernation, which does mean the introduction of the bye. The good news is most of the players from the roster have found new homes. We've seen a few head overseas and find out where they've ended up. Cup. Chloe Berryhill has gone to Italy, Catherine Zimmerman to Brooklyn FC in the US, but most of the squad remains in the A-League. Annabel, who's the biggest game changer for you on this list?
Oh, I'm going to say a good mate of mine in Grace Maher. Played alongside her at young Matildas and at Victory, where she's ended up again. And I think she's just such a quality player and person to have a part of your team. It's like having a coach out there on the field when you're playing. She just knows what to do and to set everything up. So I think, Victory have definitely got a good one there, and I'm jealous of it.
A couple of other big names on there. The Taranto twins, Teo, now at Adelaide, pulling on the red jersey, of course, considering they already had some pretty amazing firepower up front last year. Are we now looking at the best attack in the league, do you think? Or is it too early to tell?
The Tarantos had a really tough decision when Western United did go into hibernation, because every time they move, they have to decide, can we go as twins, or is it finally time for us to play for different clubs? And I think as soon as Adelaide got wind of the situation at Western United, they were in for both. Of course, Adriana won her first Matildas caps over the off-season, which is fantastic for her. And Mel is coming off another very good season. So Adelaide, two very impressive pickups, and given that they were semi-finalists last year, to go and add the Taranto twins is a huge coup for them.
Yeah, so some big changes there, but great additions. Well, speaking of changes, Melbourne Victory have also seen a whole lot of changes too. Julie Dolan medalist Alex Chidiac has made her way to Italy. Emily Gilnick is in Mexico. Alana Murphy to Germany. And there's some big losses there for Victory.
They are, but the way they've replenished their squad, they have amazing depth. Let's not forget, Lydia Williams was on the books all of last season without playing, so they actually had quite a bit of salary cap room to still move. Sienna Silvesca, Rihanna Policina, Chelsea Blissett's a good defender. You've already flagged Grace Maher. What about your teammate Taylor Ray? She won a title at Sydney. She took her title-winning talents to the Mariners. Mm-hmm. Is the winning touch going to be going down to the Victory now? What a pickup for the Victory, and what does it mean for the Mariners to have had to say goodbye to Taylor Ray? Yeah,
I mean, like I said, it's never good to lose teammates, and Taylor Ray is definitely one of them, someone who can play a variety of roles within the team. So, Victory have definitely got a good one there, and I'm sure they're going to need her with those losses that you've said.
Amy, the magic touch of Taylor Ray, but also some of those other names. Rihanna Policina was second in the league for assists and just couldn't get a start for Victory. Sienna Silvesca was one of the leading lights of the Western Sydney Wanderers. She will miss the start of the season with injury. We might not see her until the new year, but hopefully she's back from injury in short order. Grace Maher, of course, also incredibly versatile. We're hearing in pre-season she's been playing midfield, but what about Policina as a pickup, Amy?
Yeah, wonderful, and you see the quality of the type of strike that she's responsible for there, but also a really great playmaker as well. I think Jeff Hopkins has been quite strategic in some of the players that he's brought in to bolster the squad after losing some of those big names, but will they be big enough to fill the shoes that have left? That is what I'm wondering.
Well, the expectation I have of Victory, and Emily Gilnick even flagged this before last season's grand final, is they didn't feel like they'd actually played great football. They had ground-out results, and winning football is fine, but, I mean, they got to the precipice. They just finished second in the league. They lost the grand final on penalties. Maybe the answer is to be a bit more daring, a bit more attacking, and to entertain and delight, as well as grinding out the results, which we know they are capable of when they need them.
Full of grit. They are, Teo. We will see how the Melbourne Victory shapes up on Saturday night when they take on Brisbane Roar at Spencer Park. Sharn Frier makes her way back into that side after a stint at Wolfsburg. The Roar, looking after last season, they were near the top of the table before Sharn left, but then they ended up not making the top six after she left. So do the numbers back that up?
Well, Annabel, what were you thinking when they put 6 past Newcastle and 8 past Western United? I mean, as someone who's a defender, how did it make you feel watching this team rip up the league in the first half of the season?
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, it's something I really like to embrace, that challenge of there's some really great attackers in this league, and I definitely wear it as a badge of honour when I can come up against them and hopefully try and limit their impact on the game, I guess. But I remember playing Sharn Frier, I think it was like round 3 2 years ago. Not overly sure who she was. I didn't play in the league the year before, and I remember coming away from that game being like, who is this girl? Because when she gets the ball at her feet, things happen, and then she went on to have a great season, and then again last year was really good for Brisbane, so they've got a really good one coming back.
She's quick, she's deceiving, she's good with the ball at her feet, and she can finish, Teo.
And she's a difference maker because the correlation between Sharn Frier's injury and Brisbane Roar's drop-off is more or less linear in terms of they were contending, playing Melbourne City at the top of the ladder in round 10, and then they basically had wooden spoon form, less than a point per game for the back half of the year. They had other injuries, Momo Hayashi, who's now going to start the season suspended for the first 3 games as well, and they have had a bit of turnover in terms of both their Australians and their foreigners. So it's a bit of a different looking Brisbane, but as long as they have the star power of Tamiki Yallop and Sharn Frier there, they are still a team that has to be taken seriously. The question is, Amy, are they going to be consistent? Because they gave us extreme light and extreme shade last season. Are they going to be able to actually get the consistent results to be a finalist?
Well, yes, Teo, they will have to be to make the top 6. And another side that will have to turn their form around is Sydney FC, who take on Melbourne City in the match of the round. That one will come to you this weekend from Leichhardt Oval. Now, Sydney FC, obviously having the worst season they'd had ever last season, have raided North America. I think they missed the finals for the first time in 17 years. Let's take a look at the changes that they've made this season. Teo, have they done enough to right the ship for this season?
Look, the foreigners, we've got to wait until they land and see how they play. Riley Tanner was very good for Panama against the Matildas during the off-season, but I'm actually really excited about some of the Australians. You know, Sky Halmerick won both the gold medal and the golden boot in New South Wales NPL. Amelia Kasser, I think, is a fantastic young talent coming through. Madison Ayres, we saw at Canberra last year, Philippines international. How about some of those outs, though? Princess Abini's gone to Besiktas in Turkey. Kaya Simon never actually got on the field for Sydney, but great to see that she has actually played for Dijon in France since leaving. It was to be expected that there would be turnover after an unsuccessful season, but last season we were saying Jada Wyman's left, Courtney Vine, Charlotte McLean. Of course there's going to be a drop-off, but we never thought it would be a drop-off that would lead to them actually missing finals for the first time.
It was bizarre, and of course we had former Sydney FC player Teresa Polias with us riding the highs and the lows, and there were a lot of lows that season. Annabel, what was it like playing Sydney FC last season? Was it weird to see them struggle, or know that when you came up against them, they weren't quite the powerhouse they'd been previously?
Yeah, I think when you say that stat about the 17 years, that really, shocks me a little bit. I mean, we played them in round 1 last year and had a really good 3-1 win. And so for us, we were like, we've just knocked off the reigning champions, and it definitely gave us a lot of confidence heading into last year. But honestly, I don't think they had, like you said, they've had a lot of outs and stuff like that, but they were not a bad team last year. But I think it's just a testament to the league is that you have to be at your best, and if you're not, then you're not going to make the finals, which, I think is a good thing as a whole.
Amy, if they miss the finals for a second year in a row, Ante Juric has this amazing record, lots of grand finals, lots of championships.
Yeah.
Is it unthinkable to think that they could actually miss the finals again? I mean, there are a few gambles, I think, with their foreigners in this team. You know, someone like Lauriane Moyes, the Haitian international, isn't coming even from the Canadian National League. She's coming from like the Montreal equivalent of an NPL. So, like a lot of teams, they're going off YouTube footage, they're going off references. Maybe, you got to take a few risks to find a diamond, but, Sydney are gambling like everyone else.
I have been lucky enough to watch a couple of their pre-season matches against the boys and to see the improvement over the weeks. There's a question mark over a couple of players who haven't taken to the field yet. Abby Lemon is one of those who'll be coming back into the squad quite late. The internationals, as you've mentioned, the Haitian international is certainly imposing. Laurie, she's tall, solid, fast, can whack a ball. Question will be for me over fitness come the beginning of the season. It takes a couple of games to find your feet in the A-League, I think. But I don't think they'll finish bottom of the table again.
With that said, Melbourne City's coming into round 1 on a 27-game unbeaten run in home and away. And Sydney FC was very, very close to beating them on 3 occasions. Took the lead in all 3 games last year. Melbourne City, as you would expect, their scouting network is very healthy and very busy. Danielle Turner, the English veteran, comes in. Chinaza Uchendu's a Nigeria international. Devon Jackson's away with the Football Ferns, playing for New Zealand at the moment. Danella Buttress won the medal in Victoria as a teenager. Fantastic story as well. Hopefully she gets some game time, and they've got quite a few youngsters that are in the Australia under-17s team. But those outs, we flagged Policina, Mariana Speckmeyer, Lourdes Bosch. It is going to be a bit of a different-looking Melbourne City this season.
A very different Melbourne City, but I think the thing with Melbourne City is that level of consistency and quality, and they seem to just be able to turn it over year after year. Annabel, it was your side that knocked them out in the semi-finals. That must have been quite a remarkable feeling, but it's a fresh slate this year.
Yeah, they're obviously a quality side. 27 unbeaten streak is nothing short of amazing, to be honest. But we had plenty of battles with them last year, I think. We felt in the first game we played them, unfortunate to come away with a 1-1 draw, and then the second game was a 0-0 draw with them as well, albeit they missed 2 penalties late. But yeah, so going into the semi-finals, we were quite confident that they hadn't beaten us this year, and we were ready to go. And I think we learned a lot from that first semi-final that we took into the next. And then, yeah, Izzy Gomez magic and happy days for us.
Medals around the necks, writing your names in history, and we move on to the new season. There are plenty of new names and new faces. We hope this helps you out a little.
Leaves it off for Brown. It takes a strike on goal. Brown! What a strike!
Kelly Brown.
Silvesca lines it up. Silvesca scores it.
Sienna Silvesca.
Here's Badawia to make it 2. Roller Badawia doubles up.
Roller Badawia. Bronte True, and it's a beautiful goal.
Bronte True.
She dances one way, then the other. Millie Farrow scores her first goal.
Millie Farrow.
Only as far as Gooch.
Lara Gooch.
Leon for her second. Lucia Leon.
Lucia Leon.
And a good save by Lincoln.
Chloe Lincoln.
Aideen Keane to equalise for Canberra.
Aideen Keane.
Aideen Keane bringing some of her post-goal theatrics to Melbourne City this year, and hoping to see plenty more entertaining celebrations just like that one. We say that as we say a big welcome to A-League's reporter Narlene Masto, who joins us for a special look at some of the players throughout the A-League season. Who are you highlighting this week?
Well, firstly, thanks for having me on, Amy. And yeah, it's shining a spotlight on some of the biggest stars, and one of which is Melina Ayres. She's back in the competition after a 1-year break, and we actually sat down with her during pre-season to get her thoughts on her comeback, so let's have a listen.
Trying to conjure a miracle ball for Ayres. Ayres steadies and scores! And if there was one source of goals to turn to, Melina Ayres was it.
The year off came about after 9 years of playing in the league and balancing that with school, work and uni. I needed some time away and just to do less things than I was doing. I didn't realise how competitive I was. I've sort of just always played sport. I used to play cricket, soccer, and the time away was good, but I'm just ready to get back into what I do.
She sends it across and a good header for Melina Ayres.
What a header, phenomenal, back where it came from, exactly what you want from a striker.
Goals, that's the #1 plan.
Ayres, quick to turn, quick to shoot, quick to score!
The first season at Jets, when we had to beat Melbourne Victory at #2.
Ball slides on, Allen dangerous, Ayres, shot onside, incredible, Melina Ayres!
We ended up making finals, so that was pretty special to come here and actually show everyone what I'm about.
And the home fans show their love.
I just want success for the club and silverware, create history with the club. We've never won a title, so that's the ultimate goal. Newcastle's my home now, so it would be awesome to be able to lift a trophy for this town.
There you have it. She's chasing history with the Jets, and Annabel, you're going to have to go up against her this season. But back in the day, you guys were roommates with Melbourne Victory. What was that like?
Yeah, Mel's a good friend of mine. Came up all through juniors in Victoria together, and away for young Matildas as well. But yeah, we roomed together at Melbourne Victory, which was a really good time together. She's a really good person, and it's excited to see her back in the field. I think just in the A-League, we want to play against the best players that we can, and she's up there. You only need to give her a small chance, and she's such a natural goal scorer. She'll find the back of the net.
No dirt?
Nah, Mel's too chill, too go with the flow. She surfs, so probably on me, if anything.
Do you have any memories from that 2019 title win with her?
Yeah, I do. We had, I think, I must have won in Canberra and on an away trip, and I think she fell asleep with the medal around her neck, which was quite funny. But yeah, no, a lot of good times together. She'd take us to Torquay and tried to teach me to surf and probably failed a few times as well.
Well, we know what she's going to bring to the competition, guaranteed goals. And Amy, given that, back in the day, you being a defender, how much ease does it give the backline knowing that you've got a focal point like her up top and that isn't as much pressure to keep a clean sheet every game.
Well, I like to think that you score more goals than you let in, Arlene, always. But yeah, having a player like that up top that you can deliver a ball to, know she's going to hold it up or at least do her best to try and move it into another attacking position. But also, I think defensively, defence starts in the first third of the field. So it's great to see an attacker who's willing to do the dirty work up top in defence as well. But the thing I love about her is that she has an eye for goal even when she's not looking at it. So she'll take the ball on the outside of the box, have it back to goal, but turn and just shoot anyway, and try and get the shot off, the snapshot, which is, you know, sometimes it comes off and it's brilliant.
I hate to say this, but they'll need the goals because Newcastle had the leakiest defence in the league last season, and I don't think they've done much to fix it. So they might be the most entertaining team in this league purely because they're going to need to attack. Melina Ayres helps. They've also signed Hayley Johnson, who's got NPL experience, an American in both Melbourne and Sydney, so is acclimatised to Australia, ready to take on the league. And she's quite tall and good in the air, so it could actually be a good partnership. I'm fascinated as to what Stephen Hoyle, the new Newcastle coach, is going to do with this team. It's full of homegrown players, which at least means the Jets have something to get behind. And as we heard from Melina herself, she calls Newcastle home. So they very much have adopted her. We saw how much the fans loved her season before last, and hopefully it's not long before the ball is hitting the back of the net for her again.
And the other thing I love about Ateo is the fight. She's got that grit in her, you know, that little bit of fight in her that she'll go after things, and you can see it. Tenacity, and I think it's really important.
Well, I mean, she's on track to be the highest scoring W League or A-League women's player to have never won, Australian player to have never won a Matildas cap. And I'm sure that the fire would still be burning even at age 26 to put that right and take her name off the list.
I think a lot of our rising stars will have their eye on that AFC Asian Cup coming up in March. We know what Joe Montemurro wants to implement with the Tillies. High possession, players who are confident on and off the ball and confident playing out from the back. So with that being said, who do we see as potential bolters potentially for the squad?
I think that the squad itself, we're seeing a lot of ins and a lot of outs at the moment. We've seen players come in for 1 or 2 games and then not show up to the next camp. The stable will always be there, that core, and I think it's really hard to fight your way into that squad with limited time now until the AFC Asian Cup. The only possibility that maybe will open up is, say there's an injury to a secondary striker. You know, we're all going to assume Sam Kerr's fit. Michelle Heyman's sitting on the bench behind her at the moment. If there was an injury gap there and there's a young player coming through like an Annalie Rasmussen or a Holly Furphy maybe that can score, you know, a multitude, and I'm talking double digits of goals before Christmas, they might get a look in at a camp early.
Annabel, what about some of your teammates? Because they've been either on the fringes of a call-up or in that camp. Who do you like of your teammates to potentially force Joe Montemurro's hand and consider for the Asian Cup?
Yeah, I've got to go pretty close to home and say Izzy Gomez. I think I've played with a lot of good players over my career, but she has this rare ability to break a game open just herself. And she's a match winner, and I think at an Asia Cup, like, every game counts and you need a match winner, and she's someone that you could put on off the bench and really change the game.
Tell us about her evolution as a player to become more attacking and add goals to her game, because I remember her getting a little taste at the Wanderers, being a player that the Wellington Phoenix rated quite highly that season they spent in Wollongong, and then she followed them back to New Zealand, and now she's been your teammate at the Mariners for 2 years. So how have you seen her game evolve? Yeah,
well, I actually played with her at Wellington that first year in Wollongong, and I was thoroughly impressed with her, and if anything, I've been even more impressed in the dimensions that she's added to her game. I think back then she was more of a 6, really holding defender, and I think she's improved her fitness, her defensive ability, her work ethic, all that sort of stuff, and she's always had the skill, I think. But I think we saw last year with Em playing her a little bit higher, she had that free licence to take that ball and run, and I think towards that back end of the season when we got her back from injury, I mean, she was a big reason we made that finals push.
Now, your Mariners teammates had a lot of reasons not to like what I said on this panel last season, but one of them was that I thought an overseas team should have come in and bid for Izzy Gomez, even though she had 1 more year on her contract at the Central Coast. That hasn't happened. You've got her back. It must feel like such a boon that you now have someone who's at the peak of her powers coming back for another season. But how has the Matildas experience changed her, do you think, and what can we expect as she continues to evolve this season?
Yeah, the team did hear your little comment, Teo, which was always good fun. Gave us a lot of fuel for the fire.
I'm just trying to make the team and her some money. It's not a bad thing.
Stop trying to get rid of my teammates. No, very happy to have Izzy back. And I think we've seen from 2 years ago to last year, I think one thing that she's even adding to her game is leadership. She's a leader in that midfield. She tells people what to do. She encourages everyone, and she really leads from the front with putting her body on the line. Some of those tackles she makes. But yeah, I think we've seen that with the Matildas. Obviously, the little setback with the injury when she first got her call up, it only made her hungrier to go back and get more. And I think she's someone that could really make a difference for them.
Teo, do you have a player in mind for the Matildas?
There's one player who came off a bit of a season of struggle last season. Western United conceded the second most goals. Chloe Lincoln was regularly out of the team with Alyssa Daloste ahead of her in the pecking order, but we know how highly rated the national team setup considers her. The issue for Chloe Lincoln is Jada Wyman is playing well in Sweden. Morgan Aquino is playing well in the USL in the United States. So while Chloe Lincoln is very much the future of the Matildas, is she the short-term future, being able to break into that squad? Last season, Western United's defence maybe didn't give her the best protection, but, and sorry to bring it up, she did have the worst post-shot XG of any goalkeeper in the league. So at a new club, Brisbane Roar, totally new defence, new coach in Alex Smith, one who will encourage her to use her feet and play out from the back. I'm fascinated to see if she can use the Ninja A-League as a platform to really lock down one of those three goalkeeper spots. And it's a good thing that Wyman and Aquino, two goalkeepers who have starred in this league in the past, are continuing to play well at their overseas clubs. It's a good situation to have potentially 5 or 6 goalkeepers, all a very legitimate chance to make those final 3.
Looking now ahead to the opener of the Ninja A-League, it's the Wanderers up against Perth Glory and one of the players coming up against their former club in Bronte True. How do we think she's going to fare at Glory this season?
Oh, I like what Glory have done. Roller Badawea, former teammate of yours, Annabel, and also Bronte True. Gabby Holler back from her season-ending blood clot last season. So they lost their target striker who was leading the line. I'm actually quite optimistic about the Glory of this campaign. 17 players retained from last season, plus a bit of firepower. But gee, if they lose to the Wanderers in round 1, I'm going to be made to look like quite the fool. So Stephen Peters and the Glory better take care of me here. Bronte True, I think the Wanderers, they won't like the fact they've got to go up against her in round 1 because her speed, her ability to shoot on a tight angle, and also just the extra dimension that she brings to different strikers. Holler good in the air, Badawea a great all-rounder, and True the raw speed. It makes the Glory a tough proposition.
Annabel, what about you with Bronte True? You would have played against her, obviously. What do you think her strengths are?
Speed for one, I think. She's got an abundance of it, and that's always a hard thing as a defender if you've got someone so quick that can break the lines like that. But like you said, I think she's also got the players around her to complement her really well. Roller Badawea being definitely one of my favourite teammates I've played with. So I think, they're definitely got a good team together, and obviously Stephen Peters having Bronte for a long time at the Rams. So, little link up back there.
It certainly will. Well, Narlene, thank you for shining a spotlight on a couple of the players for us. Look forward to making this a regular thing.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Let's take a look now at all the round 1 fixtures. And of course, we are kicking it off with Western Sydney up against Perth Glory, Friday, 7 p.m. at Wanderers Football Park. Wanderers will be disappointed to lose names like Bronte True, like Sienna Silvestre, and I think Teo's already called this one. It's going Perth's way. Sydney FC and Melbourne City doing battle at Leichhardt Oval on Saturday. Roar and Victory. What are we going to make of these games? Central Coast and Adelaide. I know what bus you're sitting on, Annabel. And Canberra United and the Newcastle Jets. Where are the winners?
Look, I do think that the Central Coast will be an incredibly hard team to beat this year. So the onus is on Adelaide to take the game to them and attack. Annabel, you don't have to give anything away about how you're setting up, but I look at your team. I look like at Liz Gray, Izzy Coco DeCipio. I look at the hungry players who've been biding their time in the NPL for a shot. I see warriors, I see fighters. But I do wonder, do I see creativity? And I think that's where Adelaide, with Lara Gooch, Paige Zoyce, the Tarantos, I think that's where they might have just something a little bit different. So it's a heck of a game to get the season started. And I just can't wait for the action to start.
That's all right. Make your choice again and see how that went with last year. So I'm not mad at you saying the other team. It seems to work in our favour.
Keep it up, Teo. Keep it up. Bang the drum and motivate the Mariners to go back to back. Across the board, it looks like an exciting weekend. Of course, we won't see Wellington until next week. But what does round 1 throw up? Sometimes some big upsets.
Yeah, look, I think Friday night could be a great contender. Wanderers foreign players, they've only got one of them in Janae DeFazio, the Philippines international who's arrived. They're still waiting for their 2 capped Chinese internationals. As I spit that out, to arrive at the club. So they're going to be putting the onus on some young players. It does put the pressure, I think, on Perth Glory as the away team to deliver. And, of course, Brisbane Roar, Melbourne Victory. That was the last game Victory lost all the way until the grand final last season. Through the home and away, Brisbane was the last team to beat them in 90 minutes. So it's a very tough away trip for them to start the season.
Well, Teo Pellizzeri, thank you for your time on the panel today. Annabel Martin, thanks for joining us on Dub Zone. Look forward to having you back, but also watching you throughout the season. And one thing we can't doubt is the fact that all these teams will be out there to pick up maximum points in round one of the Ninja A-League starting this Friday night. Until next week, enjoy the weekend.